Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 346. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Matt P Video. Matt, how are you?
Oh my god, the chaos. I'm good, mate.
Yeah, you good? You good? What you weren't expecting this week? Come on.
I would obviously not, because you started to say Too Fresh Crash.
No,
you gotta be he knows. Chris knows. You got Matt. You gotta get on your tippy toes, mate. We're out here. We're boxing. This is shadow boxing time. Left, right, left, right, left. No, don't dodge the punches. Stay there and take them. All right, take the punches. Don't move around. Like
you dodge the punches.
And the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing good.
Where do we start, boys? Where do we start? Someone's gonna say, Fixer, why did the podcast go up on Sunday instead of on Friday like it was meant to, considering we were recording on Tuesday? So, funny story. I was in Birmingham this weekend for a break, and I thought I had uploaded the podcast. I didn't. So that's why it came out on Sunday instead of the Friday it was meant to.
All I know is that Matt was streaming that Sunday, and everybody was coming in asking.
I bet they was.
People were mad.
I mean, maybe it was part of my plan to get people to go watch Matt's stream, you know?
No,
maybe it was part of the plan.
If it was, that's genius, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. You're right.
I'm not giving you that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, everyone good, though? Everyone's okay? Everyone's living life, playing some video games, enjoying themselves?
Absolutely.
Fair
Playing
enough.
a video game. The only video game that matters at the moment.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Welcome to my world. I've played 2 video games this week, so you'll hear about that soon. In case you didn't know, this is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast, right here on youtube.com/myxboxandme and all podcast services. Now, I have to say this. We have dipped. The podcast subscribers are free-falling. They're free-falling. I personally will take blame on this, because it is personally my fault, number one. But My Xbox and Me listener, My Xbox and Me faithful, My Xbox and Me carer, mummy, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, whatever you consider yourself to this podcast, we need you. Please go and hit the subscribe button over on the YouTube channel. You get to see our lovely faces. Matt P's out here doing live streams. Are we working on other stuff that we've been talking about? Yes, we do have an exclusive podcast that we are now working on. Now, what is that exclusive podcast? Honestly, it's me, Matt, and Crash talking for 15 minutes after each week of our podcast, and we're putting all of those 15 minutes together to make an exclusive podcast. What do we talk about on part 1? We might talk about the Kanye documentary. We might talk about some other stuff. On this podcast, will we be talking about Ludwig and some other stuff? Who knows? So it's going to be a shambles of everything, but it could be interesting for people who give a crap about what we have to say. If you want the show early, head over to patreon.com/mcfixer, and that's enough promo for today. Shout out our Patreon producers, Aaron God and FNH Paul. Paul's leaving us, by the way, everybody. He's getting back to America. He's getting back to America soon.
Unacceptable.
I know, it sucks.
I'm glad.
He's
Welcome
coming back
to America.
He's coming back to America. He's leaving the UK. It upsets me a lot, considering COVID kind of destroyed all the plans we had to do things for the 2 years.
You guys
and then
did
he
have
just
a lot of stuff planned.
We were going to do so much, and COVID just killed it. So I guess I'll just have to come back to America when I get a chance, you know? I say back. I hope I make it out there the first time. You know.
Oh, yeah. Because
soon. Topic of the show this week. I thought we would talk about, you know, what's to come in the future for video games, but also what is right now upon us. We are 3 months into the year, which is crazy to say, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Ludicrous.
It's all going too fast.
Yeah.
Very, very fast. Slow down. But game of the year right now, boys. If you had to pick what your game of the year was right this precise second, what would it be and why? We'll start with Crash.
Elden Ring.
Boring.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else that came out this year. And look, before this, I was like, this year's like a really close year. Not on Xbox's side, because stuff didn't really come out on Xbox, but you had Sifu and Horizon that came out on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elden Ring comes out, and it's like, it's not even a competition for me anymore. Like, there's nothing out so far.
Yeah.
And looking at what's coming out later in the year or what might drop this year, I don't know if there's anything that's really going to compete with Elden Ring for me this year at all.
Slow year, right, for Xbox so far.
Xbox,
Like on an Xbox front, when like you said, considering like PlayStation, Gran Turismo's now, is it out or is it coming out?
I believe so.
Out.
Yeah.
Gran
Been out for a
Turismo
week.
out. Horizon out. Sifu out. I know Sifu came to PC as well, but you know what I'm trying to talk about here when it comes to console wise. Xbox, we're sort of just sat there. We're kind of twiddling our thumbs a little. We're kind of twiddling our thumbs that we know there's games coming. They're coming.
Yeah.
But they're not here yet, and it's got me anxious. Well, I was thinking about it for me. Obviously, we know my main game now is something very different to what I usually. And I'm like, okay, games I was excited for at the beginning of the year. Dying Light 2 didn't scratch that itch. What else came out this year? Rainbow Six Extraction. I enjoyed it, but not enough that I grinded it or wanted to play it day after day after day. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. You know, put in a solid 10, 15 hours, something like that, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And now I'm sat here in March, not in February, in March, and I'm like, okay, so WWE 2K22, I have that, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later in What's Been in Your Box. I was excited for that. And also we've got, what's it called? It's, Tiny Tina. And
Tiny
I'm like,
Tina on the horizon, yeah.
oh, both those games going to scratch the itch. And then I'm like, now, go on, hit me. What did I forget?
2-Point High School or Campus.
2-Point Campus.
Bro, you already know.
Campus.
If I Game of the Year, it's going to be up there. I want you to know.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Perfect will be.
I don't think you understand how good those games are. For what they are, you don't get how good they are. They're so good.
Sure. I think it's so heavily impacted by not being a console game that is available on console. Like we do Xbox Game of the Year. That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be maybe it'll be great on console.
Wait,
have you played 2-Point Hospital on console? Sorry, yeah, 2-Point Hospital on console, yeah.
Yeah.
It controls fine.
It wasn't. Yeah, it controls fine. Yeah, fine.
So I'm curious because I want to understand what point you're getting at here because I don't quite understand the point here, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, what point you
not
making?
Being on console.
Yeah, Matt, what point you making?
Here's the point, right?
Yeah.
A game like that can be significantly better on PC than it is on console. Some games, there's no difference. Elden Ring, I mean, performance-wise, I suppose there's a bit of a difference. But, like, that game controls so different on PC and console. Like, Flight Sim, I would argue, is a far superior game on PC than it is on console.
Well, that's a fact. We already know that, considering we know about the textures and things like that, as we spoke about like 2 weeks ago.
And so when we're talking about our Xbox Game of the Year, if Fixer puts 500 hours into 2-Point Campus on PC
amateur
and
numbers,
loves
at least 1,000.
No way.
It's hard to argue that should be an Xbox Game of the Year.
Of course, it's still an Xbox Game of the Year. That doesn't come. What Xbox Game of the Year comes down to is where I played. Number one, I'll be playing the game on Xbox, and number two, even if I played it on PC and it come out on Xbox, we'd still call it Xbox Game of the Year.
Also, there's a difference between Fix putting it on his personal Game of the Year list and the My Xbox Me Game.
It isn't making.
It's not going to be.
It isn't making. That's a great point. That's a great.
I don't know, man.
Point.
It is the sort of game that could hook me if it lands. When's it supposed to be out?
March 17th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Very, very soon.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to
on Game Pass as well. On Game Pass as well.
Here's what I will say. If you're using that line of argument, Matt, for it plays better on PC, there's a lot of games you have to retroactively go back, especially now that Xbox games are available on PC as well. Mm-hmm. Does Halo play better on a mouse and keyboard as opposed to a controller?
Yes.
Do you then discredit on
I
Xbox?
would argue no, because I hate
it does.
No. I agree, but I'm just saying that argument is there, and that's an argument we have to have. Gears Tactic came back a few years ago.
Sure, and look,
for that game.
You could plug a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox if you wanted to. Does that work?
Good. Yes. Some games.
Yeah. Some games, if it's supported.
If it's supported, yeah.
I would like to think it would work for 2-Point Campus. And if it doesn't, it should. Then maybe I'd play it. I've got my little Xbox out here. I could just whip it out of my laptop and into my...
No, you would. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Because
There's
it'd
no
be so much
point.
better with keyboard and mouse. Would be
It's
mouse.
Not, it's not even that bad on controller, though. I haven't
You're
played
right. It's
the
not
new-
that bad
it's
on
not.
controller.
It's really not, like, I'd get it if this was like Age of Empires or something we're talking about here, but like the 2 Point Hospital / Campus, like those games control perfectly fine on the controller. I played them on controller all of the last 2 years ago when it came out. I had a great time with it. Loved it. I was up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the mornings, just trying to build these hospitals. They're fine. They're fine. Don't even do this. Stop changing the conversation for what we're trying to have, by the way. God damn it. If I had to pick one game this year, oh god, it would be terrible, right? Like I'm at a yeah. Nothing has got me this year. Is that bad? So put it this way, yeah. So I went to Birmingham this weekend, as you all know, 4 days of nothing. I did nothing. My plan was to play Pokemon the whole time. Started Pokemon and was just like, I'm good. And instead, I scrolled on TikTok for 4 days straight. Some people would say that was a waste of time. I'd say it was the most amazing vacation. Oh, crash! It was glorious.
Yeah.
I literally laid.
You're on a vacation. That's all.
I laid belly flat down on a hotel bed with the curtains shut, with a purple mood light in the Premier Inn, and just scrolled. That was it. 4 days of that. I went and saw the Batman again. I just couldn't bring myself to play anything.
I was going to say, if you find yourself on the right side of TikTok, like I am at the moment, you could basically play the entirety of Elden Ring on TikTok. The amount of Elden Ring content I am getting shoved on TikTok is crazy.
I hate this because I never actively looked up Elden Ring content on TikTok, and then
slowly
I just started getting more, and it bothers me because I've seen bosses that I haven't seen in the game, and as soon as I see it's something I haven't fought, I just scroll away, and I'm like, why am I haven't like fully watched really any. I think that's what it is. I think I'll stay there for like half of it and then scroll away, and it's like
too long.
The algorithm's like,
that's too long.
Sit down for a little bit, so we're gonna keep giving it to him.
But okay, so seriously, like we all played. Chris, you didn't play Dying Light, right?
I did.
You ended up refunding it, right?
I refunded it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, really? I didn't know this.
Oh, he might have been on that episode. Yeah.
He wasn't here this week. Yeah, so I played it. I put about like an hour and a half, 2 hours into it. And the motion blur was just
really
no option to turn it off on console. And I was just like, I'm not gonna deal with this because it kind of makes that game look ugly. To be honest, with all the motion blur they have in that game, where it's like the sightlines sometimes in certain parts of that game are really good looking, and I can't even enjoy those because it's a first person game with parkour where you are incentivized to constantly be moving. So
sure.
So Elden Ring for both of you, though.
Yeah. Look, the answer is Elden Ring. 100%. The answer is Elden Ring. I think in another year, I don't really know if Dying Light would actually be up there for me, but like, I think Dying Light is a very, very good game. I think Horizon is a very, very good game. I think Sifu is a very, very, very good game. But they just don't come close to Elden Ring. Like, I haven't felt this since Breath of the Wild. Like, the way that people are discussing it online and everybody's like finding the secrets and sharing the secrets, it feels like we're on the playground again. And it's awesome, and I love it. The only thing that could come out this year, potentially, we all know it's not going to, but it's supposed to, that could fight for it would be Breath of the Wild 2. But I think even if that does hit this year, it still doesn't compete.
I swear we do an Xbox podcast.
We do an Xbox podcast.
You know what? Starfield could absolutely compete. If Starfield is what people want Starfield to be, which I'm not necessarily convinced that it will be.
No, I agree.
I think that there's so much for Bethesda to prove with this game, because a lot of like Bethesda's old games, like you look at Fallout and you look at Skyrim, they live on the fact they're established franchises that people love, so people will overlook the bugginess of those games. Whereas if this game comes out and it's in the same state of bugginess as a lot of their other games are, I don't think people will be as receptive to it as they have been to their games in the past.
Not only that, and maybe it's just a me thing, and we spoke about this before, which is, does Game Pass hurt these type of games now? The reason people will invest so many hours is because they are throwing down their $60, right? Game Pass giving you the in at a very low price point then allows you to come out at a lower price point as well, right? does, you know, like we put up with like you said, we put up with Fallout, we put up with Skyrim bugs, right? And we're like, yeah, but it's good. Like, we like it. It's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable. And I put $60 into this. Does the it's good, it's fun, but it's buggy as hell, and I only put £1 into it, or $11.99, whatever it is, how you get your Game Pass. Does that also hinder this game? Do you think? Because to me, it does. I'm not putting up with it. Like if Starfield comes out, I'm not. Again, we all know I'm not the biggest Bethesda fan anyway. Like, not that I think they make bad games, just not games that interest me. I'm gonna jump in because we have to. It's part of the conversation. This is what we do for a living. I'm gonna jump in, and if there's bugs all over the place, and it's not this spectacular experience, I'm out. I did it with Cyberpunk, and I bought that game as well. I didn't get a code for Cyberpunk, and I was like, deuces. And I know, privileged position. I'm able to throw. I can throw away $60, not worry about it. I understand that. But with Game Pass, I've got 5 years of Game Pass. Like, I'll come back to it at some point. I feel that's going to hinder Bethesda as a whole, and now they're going to have to get their, for a lack of a better term, they're going to have to get their shit together, because we're not going to put up with it anymore. I don't think.
I think there are positives and negatives to it, right? I think what you said is absolutely right. Like, you're not dropping 70 quid on this thing, and so it's easier to bounce out. You're also not having that justification in your mind of, I even dropped 11 quid on this thing, or 12, 15, whatever it is you're paying for Game Pass, because actually, no, you dropped 15 quid that month on everything in Game Pass. So if you bounce from that to something else in Game Pass, you're still getting your value for money from Game Pass, right?
I'd say,
which is likely what you're going to do.
I'd say most people won't view it like that, though. Most people are going to view it as, I am buying Game Pass for said game, and that is what I'm spending the money on. If by happenstance I enjoy other things a part of this service, cool. But that's not the reason they're paying for it, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who talk about Game Pass, and they always talk about, like, I got Game Pass for the first party Xbox games, or the big Xbox games, and all these other games that get put onto it are nice, but they're never the main, unless it's like a big game, it's never the main talk for Game Pass. It's like, oh, did you know this game's on Game Pass, or there's this other game. Yeah, it's interesting, because I do think that it's more likely people will jump off of it, but I think if they're a prolonged Game Pass customer, in the sense that they have it regardless of whether this game covers that itch for them or not, there's a chance they come back to it when it is fixed and patched up, and they're like, a lot of the bugs are gone, because they still technically have the game available to them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, take Dying Light 2 for me, if they do patch it in where they're like, motion blur is fixed and you can turn that off on console now, I would have to go through the process of purchasing it again. Dude, I'm less likely to do that. You
ain't buying that game. You're not playing that game again until it comes to Game Pass. And then that's when we're going to play it. That's because you're going to go, oh, I want to check that out. I'm going to go, oh, I'll play it co-op with you. And then we're going to have a fabulous time with it. That may be in a year or two's time. That may not be. That may not be this year, but that's how I can already see how that experience is going to go. For me, anyway, I can just feel it.
You guys are the old gamers, old guys. Like, you ain't going back to it in a year or two, even if it does come to Game Pass. Surely.
It depends on how. It depends. It depends
when it comes out. What's out when it comes out?
Think about it. You say that in 2 years' time, our lives. No, it depends. Our lives could be very different, though. Like,
it's also. Sometimes people just want to play games. It's like, oh, me and Fix haven't played games in a long time.
Bro, name the last time me and you got to play I'm hoping Rainbow Borderlands, but no, not in the way we used to play games.
Yeah.
Even that was like hey, I'm around for an hour. Hey, you're around for an hour. Hey, Matt, you're around for an hour. Let's play. Like, not back in the day we're playing PUBG for 9 hours together and I'm shooting your head by mistake, learning how to play the game.
Wait. That's not what happened in that situation. There was no learning going on.
Let's not worry about it.
Sounds like target practice to me.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, okay, here's a different question. Has this year's slate of games, we'll include everything, has this year's slate of games been a letdown? Because even I haven't started Horizon, I haven't started it, and I haven't started Sifu either. But like, Sifu's the only game that I've heard come out and people have been like, yeah, this and that and Elden Ring. Like, yeah, these are the games. Like Horizon, all I keep hearing from people is it's really good, but it's more Horizon.
Yeah, like it didn't reinvent the wheel, but it's like I do feel like Elden Ring is a massive evolution on the From Software formula.
Can I interrupt you? Is it a massive evolution for gaming, period? I've not played it yet. Is it a massive evolution for gaming or just for From Software?
It's from Software.
Okay.
I feel like games will try to imitate what From Software does, but like everything they do with that game works because of the way they tell stories, the way they create environments. And I feel like we will get open world games similar to after Breath of the Wild. There were games that tried to imitate that formula that could never like nail why people like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I think we'll get something very similar coming out with Elden Ring, where a game may succeed somewhere down the line, but I don't think it'll be many. I think it'll be far and few between.
Oh yeah.
It's because it could have gone the other way so easily, right? Of this like over ambitious Souls games don't need to be open world. Why are we doing this? Is it just ambition for the sake of ambition? And the execution is just so well done. It's just like a perfect game. And so like you can't poke any holes in it. I would call it a perfect game, yeah.
I think the biggest issues with that
game
no,
I wouldn't.
are accessibility issues, which I don't think we're ones to like really speak on.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think it is accessibility
I wouldn't call it
issues. And so I think if your view of it on being a perfect game hinges on whether you need those accessibility issues or not, I think that's a completely different conversation. But there aren't, aside from accessibility, like me thinking on the game, there aren't a lot of stuff where I'm like, that doesn't work or that doesn't make sense in the scope of a Souls game, right? I think it is you could make an argument that it is a perfect Souls game. I think, not perfect. I don't like the word perfect. Perfect games don't exist. A masterpiece, I think you can make an argument that it's a masterpiece for a Souls game. I think that's a fair statement you could make.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. And what I was going to say is I think Horizon does exactly what Horizon needed to do, which is more Horizon, more fun killing robots. Look, there's room for improvement in the story of that game. I think the writers of that game and the devs of that game love the lore of that game, and they expect you to be as on that ride with them as they are. And like
same
Lord of the Rings level lore stuff.
That works with.
Go on, Crash.
I think that works with like every game that's narrative focused. Like if you jump into an Uncharted game, it's like that game hinges on you paying attention to like
Last of Us. I literally just Last of Us, 100%. You could say the exact same thing about Gears right now. You cannot. The next Gears of War that comes out, Gears. They dropped the of War. The next Gears that comes out, if you haven't played the previous two Gears, you ain't gonna have a clue what's going on. Not to the level that you need to.
Yeah,
I'm almost certain of that.
I agree.
I don't think with my time in Horizon, like the lore is as need to know as you're trying, because the game like sort of self-explanatory with everything they bring up. Yeah, and mind you, I'm not somebody who paid that much attention to the first game because I didn't really care for the story in the first one. I remember me and Fix talked about it way back when, and that was the big thing we disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, it's like I don't remember some of these facts, but the way they introduce it and talk about it is like I immediately start recognizing what's going on. It's not that big of a leap for me.
Really? I'm the opposite of like, who the fuck is this person? Why the hell do I care about them? Whereas like you say about The Last of Us Part 2, I feel like the way that structure of that story takes off very quickly, it actually doesn't require you to know Part 1 very well.
That's
totally disagree, but
that's not for this podcast.
That's not for now.
Yeah,
but that's a total. I totally disagree with you. But
that game absolutely hinges on the first one.
Yes,
it revolves around that first one.
Yes, agree. What game are you most looking forward to, everybody? Fresh?
There's a few games
top of the list
are coming out. At the top of the list, I think I have to go, if it comes out this year, Gotham Knight.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's all this conversation is going to be if it comes out this year. And the answer for all of them is going to be they're not.
See, you're totally wrong. I am. Tiny Tina is my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. 100%. And the only reason it is because I have such high expectations for this game because the DLC for Borderlands 2 was so good.
Was so good.
It's
dude.
scary how good it is.
I don't like
it
Borderlands, and that DLC is so good.
It can't live up to my expectations in terms of
I
like
don't think so.
that was so good. So for you to make a whole game based around it, there's a lot that can go wrong. So I know it's not going to be to the and plus a difference between a 40-hour experience and a 2-hour. I mean, Borderlands might have been longer than that, but let's say 5 hours max experience. Like apples to oranges comparison, really. But yeah, it's coming out, and I cannot wait to bloody play it. I cannot wait.
That one I believe is coming out.
Yeah, of course
You
you
don't
do.
think Gotham Knights is coming out this year?
Sorry?
You don't think Gotham Knights is coming out this year? I think Gotham Knights is coming out this year.
I think it's 50-50.
I think Harry Potter's
I think
50-50.
I think Harry Potter is 70-30.
I think Harry Potter is 30-70.
yeah, that's what I meant. Getting pushed,
Yeah,
70% getting
Okay,
pushed.
Interesting.
100%.
I think there's a chance it comes out this year. I just think with Harry Potter, we haven't seen anything.
But we
other
haven't
than
seen
the announcement.
anything of what was talking about
Gotham
earlier.
Knight,
No,
Gotham
not Gotham
Knights, we've
Knight.
seen loads.
No, I'm not talking about earlier. Bethesda's game. Jesus.
Starfield.
Right.
Starfield.
Starfield. We haven't
Yeah,
seen
but
nothing of Starfield.
I think the exception with Bethesda is that Bethesda generally shows their games right before they come out.
Maybe WB want to show their games
No,
like.
that's not.
No.
Hey,
No.
what do you mean?
Once we have a precedent for that, that's when we can say it.
Okay.
Once we
Yeah.
see,
So when this
Harry
game
Potter,
comes
and then
out,
3 months later comes out.
when this
yeah.
game comes out after being shown in 3 months, we give them the benefit of the doubt for the next couple
Exactly.
of games.
Then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, they're starting to do that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, fine. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
Bethesda's shtick is show it at E3, get it out in November. And so, like, I'm expecting that to happen. Starfield is one of the ones that I'm least concerned about getting pushed. But yeah, I think Hogwarts Legacy there's no chance.
Yeah.
Also,
I think-
while we're here, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Fuck J.K. Rowling. Thank
Fuck
you,
J.K.
thank you,
Rowling.
thank you.
Or
Yep,
fuck
yep, yep.
J.K. Rowling. Yeah, yeah.
I was going to do it, but I was waiting for a nice place.
yeah.
I think there's a possibility Harry Potter comes out this year. I think there's a bigger possibility it gets delayed.
Pizza bet?
I really think, and I'm not making a pizza bet at all. For a
Matt.
game that I don't care, absolutely not.
I
Yeah.
absolutely care. What, pizza bet?
Yeah.
Pizza bet.
I,
Wait, what, are you
I
a
am
pizza?
betting.
Or do you owe me a
I
pizza?
am betting. I can't
I'll
remember.
let you know. I'll let you know right now.
Chris
Thank
knows.
these
I was
all
going to
written down.
say.
I have these all.
I'm betting it
written
comes
down.
out.
You think it lands in 2022?
Yes.
The weird thing here is that I kind of hope you're right.
Of
Because I think
course.
it needs to come out this year.
Oh, we need it. I need it. Like, bro, I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
The thing is, like, does it live up to the hype? Can it even possibly live up to the hype?
Yes.
Matt owes you a pizza right
I
now.
knew. I
Do
thought
I?
so.
For
I thought
what?
so. Do you remember what the...
Warzone highest viewership pizza bet?
Ah,
Oh
yes.
yeah, okay. That was an in the moment pizza bet.
Yeah, it
Yeah, and
was.
the only other
It
bet
was.
pizza
Well,
bet we actually have going down that we've locked
Final
in
Fantasy.
right now
It's
is
Final Fantasy.
We've like
And
That's the
we've
end of this year,
pitched
right?
A lot of pizza bets. That's the end of 2022. Will not.
Yeah.
So the bet is Final Fantasy will not be on Xbox, and I think this is. I actually wrote this incorrect because I think it's Game Pass specifically.
I'm
the end of
pretty sure it
2022.
was. I think I was saying. It
I'll
was
take
gonna
that because it
launch in
helps
Game
me, but I
Pass.
don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. It was just
Oh,
it
okay,
will be on. It will
okay,
be
it was
on
just-
it'll
Xbox
be on
by the
Xbox.
end of the year. Yeah,
2022.
yeah.
So you still got another like 9
I'm good.
months fix.
I'm
look,
not even sweating.
good.
I'm not even sweating. I'm not even sweating.
You've got one in the bag. You've got one in the bag. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just
No,
playing
what-
double or quits at this point.
So wait, do you think it's going to be bad? Harry Potter?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it'll be a bad game. I think it'll be a 6-7 game.
Oh.
6-7.
Okay, let's sweeten it. It comes out this year,
Woo.
and it's
You're
going to
just
get
helping me out here,
8s.
mate. Come on.
No, don't. No, that's the.
Okay, well, hold on. We've got to nail this in.
Eights from the big three: IGN, GameSpot, and who's big? Who else do we like? And me.
No.
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 How about-
Let it be me?
Metacritic,
I
you could
don't
go
know.
80. 80 on
Well,
Metacritic.
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think. Do you do
Metacritic is, if you guys
48 hours after embargo Metacritic?
It comes out this year, and it's going to have an 80 at least on Metacritic, not user.
not user, okay. I was
What,
gonna
for
say-
them,
no,
what, for
not
them to user bomb it? And no.
Because it will
no.
100% get user bombed.
100%. 100%. Which, because fuck
J.K.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
I mean, I will take that. I feel
Let's
like
do
you've
it.
already given yourself way too many stipulations in there
I'm
for you
too.
to have any shot.
It
of
comes
that.
out this year, and
Fix
plus
does
80.
this. Fix does this all the time. He makes a bet. It's like he gets really in on the bet, and then he makes it worse for himself.
Do you know,
I know.
why? Because I love gambling. I love a gamble. I love it.
I can tell.
I love it.
But listen, Fix, remember, you've got a pizza in the bag. So
Yeah, exactly.
you just text me anytime you want, and you'll have a pizza.
Don't you
delivered.
worry, baby. When I'm hungry, I'm not damn bad yet. Wait till my bank account is ready for me to be like, yo, and then my stomach's rumbling, and I'm lying on the bed, and I'm like, oh, my tummy, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm so hungry. Haley, please feed me. And then Haley's like, no, I'm not feeding you. And I'm going to be like, I need some pepperoni pizza, please, sir.
I feel like there's got to be a time placed on the redeeming of a pizza bet.
End of the year. Has to be a year. I think it should be a year.
I mean, yeah, we have 12-month long pizza bets at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to. I think
You know what I
if
mean?
you
So,
haven't
like,
redeemed
I'm
it in a
fine with
year, that's your problem.
Okay.
Ain't no one going under from a couple of pizzas. We're gonna be okay. Chris. Don't
I'm
worry.
just saying, I'm just saying to like keep it like clean and clear as much as possible. So the pizza bet is
The pizza bet's on.
80 Metacritic
After
And
48
this
hours.
this year.
After 48
After 48
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
So on January 1st, 2023,
Mm-hmm.
I will win 2 pizza bets
Yes.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And it'll be New Year's Day, and
gonna
I'm going to have
message
myself
me.
a pizza party.
He's gonna message me like, "Where's my pizza, bitch?" Oh well, I'm looking
There
forward
we
to
go.
it.
Pizza bet's on.
So where did we? I'm Tiny Tina.
What are we talking about?
Fresh, most
Tiny
anticipated.
Tina.
Tiny Tina. Fresh is
Gotham Knight
Gotham Knights. Matt
Yours
Bates.
is your most anticipated game this year is Gotham Knights.
on Xbox.
Wow.
Yeah, what else? Like
Starfield.
like
Is the correct answer.
no, it's not. I don't
What is?
I don't care for Bethesda.
Starfield.
I don't like Fallout
Yeah.
isn't my thing. Skyrim isn't my thing. Like for me to say Starfield would be like literally lying because it's one of the biggest games coming out on
Look,
Xbox.
If we're keeping it 100, Mario Strikers is the most anticipated game coming out.
Oh,
this year.
dude.
But
Absolutely.
you
I
don't
can't
know.
wait for that game.
That's
I'm
dude,
more excited for Nintendo Switch Sports than I am Strikers.
that's because you're an idiot.
Because you're wrong.
Matt's got a loving family at home that he plays Wii Sports with.
That's
That's
actually
why.
a really good
That's
point.
why.
That's a really good
Yeah,
point.
that's why. Look, he knows it. Look at his face right now. He fucking knows it. Us two, me and Chris, like we want to play football against each other. Matt's like, but Grandma wants to play golf. Like,
100%.
Oh.
all right, let's move on, boys. Let's jump into Fix's sack. First question here. Oh, no, not yet.
Matt
My bad.
didn't give his.
Oh,
Matt
sorry,
didn't give his
Matt.
game?
Sorry.
What? The best game of 2022?
I thought he said Starfield.
What you're looking forward most to?
Yeah,
upcoming?
Starfield.
Starfield.
Starfield. And is the question that we were trying to answer at the start of this, has the best game of 2022 already launched? Is that what we went with in the end?
Sure, if you want.
Yes, it's Elden Ring.
Good answer, Matt. I agree.
I love how he asked a question that he knew the answer to. At least we got a title.
That's why he asked it. He was just waiting this whole time to give that answer.
At least
He
we
was
got
kind
a
of
title.
zoned out the whole thing. That's why he took the pizza bet.
Yeah, it's no shot. This guy. If you want to email him, my Xbox and me podcast@gmail.com. Matt, what is that?
My Exposing Me podcast at gmail.com.
Thank you very much. The first one comes from Zyra and says, when Xbox first acquired Bethesda, one of the first things people mentioned was the possibility of a Fallout New Vegas 2, done by Obsidian Entertainment. Obsidian developed the first, and it received critical praise. Some consider New Vegas the best in the series. Obsidian even used this praise to their benefit when marketing Outer Wilds, citing, quote, from the creators of Fallout New Vegas, end quote, in the market. Obsidian is currently working on Grounded, Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, with only Grounded seeing a release in 2022 out of beta. Obviously, the conversation around New Vegas 2 is super early, but my question is, do you think Fallout New Vegas 2 is actually going to happen? And if so, when do you think we'll see it? My guess would be yes, it'll happen, but I wouldn't expect to see it until both Outer Worlds and Avowed release, so 2026. If Avowed is a 2023 and Outer Worlds is a 2024 game, would this game be the first Fallout game we see under Microsoft, or do you think In Exile's unannounced FPS game will be a mainline Fallout game? Keep doing your thing, lads. Here's hoping Matt remembers what the email is. He did. I'm proud of him.
I got it.
I think it's a great question, actually. I don't.
Do we think? First of all, do we think that the game, if they make a Fallout game, do we think they make it a New Vegas 2?
Yes.
No.
I think they do new something.
Oh.
New Texas, new whatever. I don't think they do New Vegas.
Oh,
New
I
Texas would be pretty dope.
Okay. I like what you're thinking now.
Yeah.
I mean, I like your idea more, so I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
I would argue that New Vegas, like Vegas in that game, is like one of the better sceneries for a Fallout game. I don't necessarily think it's the best Fallout game, but I know a lot of people do. I think it's a great little world to base that game in, and I understand why the want would be there to go back. But we've never seen Fallout do that. Like Fallout's thing is that it's somewhere new each time and like introducing new things each time, and so I don't know why they would step away from that.
But
Because
this isn't
Microsoft
Bethesda
owned them.
making it. It's also Obsidian.
Sure, look, all of this could absolutely be subject to change. If Fallout New Vegas 2 was announced, I wouldn't be massively surprised.
Yeah.
I do think they are more likely to go down a more similar route to what you said, Crash. Maybe not even with that new name, but maybe is that got enough cachet to warrant that being a thing? I don't know.
I think it
for
does.
Fallout fans, it does.
I think I was gonna say amongst its core fan base, yes. If you're trying to put it on a more widespread appeal, no.
I don't think it matters on a more widespread appeal, to be honest.
No?
If it has the new or not. Yeah, no. I think subtitles, a number, I don't think.
Sequels
think
always
it
sell
matters with
better, though,
Fallout.
right?
Yeah, I think just having Fallout in the title is.
So
I think just having Fallout is enough.
Fallout, whatever. Not even Fallout New, whatever.
I don't think that we'll see a Fallout 5. I think they're more likely to do a Fallout whatever.
That makes
than
sense
they
for
are to do a
Game
Fallout
Pass now
5.
as well.
I think the really interesting thing with that will be Elden Ring, actually. Whenever we see that come out and what they decide to do with the title for that. Not Elden Ring.
I was gonna say
Starfield.
Cool,
Elder
cool.
Scrolls, sorry.
Not Starfield.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, Elder
sorry.
Scrolls. Whatever they do with the number for that, if they go Elder Scrolls 6, or if they go Elder Scrolls insert title here. Because they technically still do that with Elder Scrolls, because it is Oblivion, Skyrim, and all that stuff. Do they just drop the number? Would be the question.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I suppose it is a very similar scenario, but for some reason in my head, I'm like, no, it'll be Elder Scrolls 6, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel the opposite way about Fallout for some reason.
Because with Elder Scrolls, they've always had the number and the subtitle, where it's never been like one or the other. With Fallout, it's like they have the subtitle or they have the number. It's never both. So I see why you could have the dilemma.
You think Resident Evil next game gets a number?
Nobody cares.
Remake, yes. Mainline, no.
Makes sense.
Really, you don't think you? No, they have to at this point.
No.
I
Because with Resident Evil 7,
yeah,
they really started pushing away from calling it Resident Evil 7.
I
and
mean,
they were
even
more and more
Village.
Village.
But then they did it with Village. It was still 8 Village.
yeah, but it was.
They pushed away from selling it as Resident Evil 8.
Even the
for
marketing,
like,
they
very
didn't
hard.
want to push. They didn't want to push it as 8. They wanted to push it as Village.
I think the only reason they did is because they announced it as that.
They close that off as that trilogy, and they do the same thing with 9. It's Resident Evil 9, whatever, and then they play more on that subtitle than they do on the 9, but it's still there. And then they.
What are you doing, Fix?
I'm just so happy I
Do
can
you
turn
know
the conversation. No, I can just
to
turn the
Resident
conversation
Evil?
to Resident Evil that fast. Moving on. Next question. Original Cookie Man says, I read an article from The Verge about the Elden Ring character creator that fouls black players. Got me thinking about representation in games. when given the opportunity, I don't like to take a default character, e.g. Mass Effect / Skyrim. I like to create a character that looks as close to myself as possible, e.g. shaved head, black, male. Even within this narrow remnant, most games don't do a good job and instead default to a buzz cut, clippers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Let alone provide any significant range of hair options / styles popular within the ethnic minorities. Do you feel like you are forced to compromise when character creation tools in games? Shout out to tools in PES / eFootball, which represents the global range of styles used / popularized by famous footballers. I mean, I guess I'll tackle this one first as the as the black guy on the panel. I guess I'll speak. Yeah, no, I play GTA roleplay, and I've got a character currently that I have to wear a hat. Otherwise, my character's shape up looks like this. It's a lion that just goes like that the whole time. No, we all know my shape up isn't looking great right now. I know, calm down, everybody. But we all know how we want our characters to represent us, and I think it definitely, when it comes to black hairstyles, I can only speak on black because that is the one that I mainly pay attention to more than anything else, because those are the characters I'm creating. You know what it is. It's afro, medium afro, small afro, big afro, cane roll, buzz cut, this weird looking fade that looks nothing like what any person would get, a skin fade, you know? And there are a couple games out there that have done it well. There was one specific game that I remember giving a shout out for. I can't think of what it is. Haley, you're not part of this podcast. Yeah, you know, if you're gonna whisper, just pull up a microphone, you know. Haley's decided to shout Spider-Man. She's not heard the conversation at all, so doesn't understand that we're talking about character creation or anything like that. She doesn't know. She hasn't got a clue, but she's decided to insert herself in this podcast. But we thank you. We thank you. God damn it, woman. God damn it, woman. No wonder why people email in. Well, it's not even an Xbox game. But no, the answer to your question, I don't know why though. Does anyone know why they can't get it? Is it a case of they just don't have the right people in the background making these games, so it doesn't come to mind? Is that what it is?
I think it's double faceted. I think part of it is absolutely that they don't have the right people in the process of making these games. I don't think that they have very many black voices, minority voices in general, who have different hairstyles to be like, oh, this is what the game should have. But I also think like hair has notoriously in games been bad.
Yeah.
For you to go and attempt to add any sort of hair that isn't just flat is a real struggle. I don't think that's an excuse for us to why you don't even attempt to do it. But I could see that being the reason why some developers are like, we're just going to stay away from that. We're going to do basic as we can.
I remember when Tomb Raider came out, the reboot. Remember when we got the old hair, what was it? Hair physics? I remember that being a big thing. Look at her ponytail.
It still is in Horizon Forbidden West that came out last month. Like, everybody laughs in the cutscenes. Her hair is going mental. Like, they still, like, hair is still clearly a thing that developers struggle with. And again, it's like really difficult to get right. But yeah, I think what Kresh said is right? Like, there's not, then classically or historically has not been enough diversity in the industry in general, in many industries, but game dev specifically as well. And so those people aren't there to make those decisions and to give their input. Hopefully that is changing.
I think we got to speak up when people do it right, is the thing. What game? 100%. No, NBA. It was NBA 2K22. That was what the game I was talking about. That I was like, oh my God, the fades are on point. I remember that being like a big thing. And the fact that that's a big thing is a bad thing. Yeah. It should just happen naturally, and I should be able to get, you know, whatever it is I'm trying to get to, I should be able to get to it.
Not every game needs like a million different hairstyle options, but the fact that whenever you go, for anybody who doesn't have straight hair, like the options are afro or buzz cut. Because like even me, I don't have straight hair. I can't find my hairstyle whenever I go to create a character in a game. So I just like, I'm just going to create whatever I want in a game. The options I can go with is like, I'm going to go with a fro, which is just like, that's not.
It's not your fro. Not your type of fro, brother. Not your type of fro. You've got a fro. I've seen you with a fro, my guy, but not your type of fro. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
So it's like
Yeah.
that's not accurate, and that feels like I'm just appropriating something that I shouldn't.
Matt P, what about you? You've got like a typical white man haircut. You have no trouble
I have the
getting your
most generic face of all time. I can always make my character in a video game. Basically, like it's not that difficult. Like
No.
Even then though, like you still never like look at a character and go, oh, that actually looks like you. Like you never get that into it or whatever.
But
Can we give a shout out to someone real quick? Because I tell you who does do it very well. Khalif Adams. That guy, that bastard. Every time I see him do a character creation, I'm like, hey, how number one, how long did it take you to get there? And number two, it looks just like you, goddammit.
Yeah, fair play.
Because like there's games where you can like change the bone structure and stuff
Yeah,
like that. And
I
I'm
ain't got time
like,
for
I'm
that.
gonna go into this game, I'm gonna make the exact face I want to, and then I spend like 5 minutes and I'm like, this is too much. I'm making my character look progressively worse. So I'm gonna go to one of the more
You
default
notoriously
ones.
play as a woman most of the time in games as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, one of the reasons is I can never get my character to look close enough to me that I'm like, I'm just gonna fit whatever fancy role I have for this game.
Yeah.
And most of the time I end up making a woman in a game, but it really depends.
I've gotten more like that as I've played games where I'm like, you know what? Let me just embody the role of this character that I am now making. Instead of, usually I try and do the whole, this is me. How would I act in this moment? And I'm like, that's fun, but I've been living that life now for nearly 30 years. How about I embody this half cat, half pig person, and what do they feel? Do you know what I mean, though? Like, it's an extension of roleplay, right? So
I still always struggle with that, though. Like, if I'm like, I'm going to play Fallout and be evil, I always just end up not doing that. Like,
that's
I always
your choice,
just end up being
though,
a good guy. I
That's
know,
your
I know.
choice.
What I was going to say about this question very quickly is I'm surprised that, like, very early on in the 360 era, they had the camera. And in Rainbow Six, you could take a photo of yourself, and that would be your face. And it was terrible, and it was awful. But then they had the Kinect, and they like improved on that technology.
And it was terrible.
And nobody did anything with it. And it was still terrible. But like, you know, how have we not come on from then? Like, Snapchat filters are incredible.
Snapchat filters are incredible for white people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For a lot of black people, that like it'll either like lighten their skin or it'll do a whole
Like my
bunch of
privilege.
features that don't. Yeah. It's
And that's
notoriously
why
not good for white
Kresh
people.
gets invited to the dinner table, people. I want you all to know, because Kresh understands, okay? Kresh can come to Nan's house for some dinner, because he gets it. No, they're not. They're trash. They're fine for you, sir. Let me tell you, they're rubbish.
My point was, deep fakes have come a long way. Snapchat filters have come a long way. All of these things have come a long way. Are we not at a point where we can just hold our phone out and scan our head and then just put it on a character?
It doesn't work out.
Well, 2K have that. 2K have that already. NBA 2K have, or had it on the last game. I don't know about this game, where you literally held your phone, you did this, you did that. Horrible. Horrible. I did a whole video on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's still, for some reason, because you got to remember, I've got like the optimal lighting and everything.
Sure.
Like, and still horrible.
Fair enough. Maybe one day we'll be there. I don't see why we wouldn't get there one day.
It depends how many people want it, I think, is the thing, right?
Yeah, but it's also, you have to make it work for multiple people, like all different shades, all different
100%.
hairstyles, everything. And I think that's a lot of work where developers look at it and they're like, it's just not worth it for us because it's gonna go wrong. And the PR backlash you could get if it doesn't work for, like, let's say it doesn't work good for black people, like that's a horrible PR backlash that you might not want to go for.
Sure. I feel like this is a thing that would probably get engineered outside of video games for some reason.
Yeah.
And then would be like, oh, this is transferable in, and eventually it would just become ubiquitous very easily.
I could see it being a thing for like movies to like easily translate actors into movies or something like that to get a workable model or something like that.
I feel like we're at more of a place where obviously we've got all this metaverse stuff going on, and this is not me memeing at this time. This is just like we've seen what the meta-human stuff can do, right? I feel like you've got more of a chance of, hey, you want your character in game? We use Unreal Engine. Make your character on whatever the character creation metaverse tool is, and then you can import the character that way. I can see that happening more than this whole scan thing, personally. But I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on anyway. Let's take this one from top left, shall we? As someone who grew up youngest of 3 in a single parent household, I was very fortunate to game and to get the game/platform I wanted. But I know my mum struggled financially to enable me to do so. Having Game Pass as a kid would have been a godsend. How do you think it would have affected you and the way you gamed growing up if Game Pass had existed back then? Also, shout out to all the parents who do everything they can to make their kids' dreams a reality. Shout out to Toplift91. Great question. Krish, Game Pass for you? What you grew up. You grew up in an interesting way. Did you have everything? Because you had an older brother as well. So
yeah, I did. I got a lot of hand-me-down consoles. And I would play consoles when I go to my cousin's house and stuff like that. I don't think realistically my parents would have got me Game Pass.
No,
I don't think that's I remember I used to play RuneScape and they have free to play and they have a membership version and the membership's $5. I remember it took me so long to convince my parents to let me get the membership, and even then it was a month by month basis. I'd have to renew my my asking skills and be a month later so the month's about to come up and we'd sit down at a table and have a little meeting.
I can just imagine little Crash. Little Crash comes out with his calculator so mum, dad, I've been such a good boy today. Look at this. I carried the 5 and look, this is all that I would have earned out here mowing the lawns.
So I don't think realistically Game Pass, if I had the opportunity as a kid, I think it would have been huge, but I don't think I would have had my parents would have got me Game Pass as a kid.
Matt?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. We've talked about this before. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or off maybe, but I had a chipped PlayStation 2.
Yeah, we spoke about it on the podcast. Yeah.
And so say it quietly. And so
no, say it loud and proud. Screw you, Sony! Man chipped his PS1 and his PS2. Do something.
Too right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Games were cheap anyway, and I'd still struggle to ask my parents for games. And they were always amazing about it, and my dad would always be like, yeah, sure, let's get a couple games. Or sometimes no, you've just got some games, no, piss off or whatever. Not piss off, but you know what I mean.
That's how you know we grew up differently. Mine was definitely piss off. Move yourself.
I think look, if it was modern times, if it was still this day this year, but we were just 12 years old somehow, I think my parents probably would buy me Game Pass. My parents, my dad especially, has always been really up on technology, and we've had Spotify since day one. He was very keen on that sort of thing, and so I think he understands the benefits of a subscription service like that, and so I could imagine him being on board with it. And now he, don't tell Phil Spencer, uses my Game Pass account.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And we talked about this before, where I could just share
You're
it with his or
That's
whatever. But
Phil Spencer knows about this. It's built into the system. Yeah. You're okay.
So there we go. That's how it flips. Kids start supporting their parents with video games.
Yeah, I think in my household it would have been very, very still okay. Look, would this have saved my mum and dad loads of money? My mum grew up. I have a very complicated family life, so I can't get into it here, but it was very complicated. My mum still wouldn't have been able to afford $12.99 a month. There's no way. I know for a fact, it just wouldn't happen. She wouldn't have understood. My mum still doesn't understand it today. She has gone.
I was going to say, do you think 12-year-old you would have been savvy enough to be well, actually, it's just £1 a month, and then I'm going to do all these Bing quizzes, and I'm going to do all this shit so I get the points, I can buy the Game Pass for free.
Yes. That's how I would have gamed the system. Yeah. But yeah, if without that, no, yeah, my mum would have been like, are you crazy? £12 a month? Are you nuts? What are you talking about? £12 a month? Man puts food on the table, or she puts food on the table. It ain't got no chance in that happening. She wouldn't have understood that it was saving money. She wouldn't have understood that, because I would have been the little kid that still went, yeah, but Nintendo just came out with Double Dash, and I need £60 for that. And then she's like, wait a minute, I'm giving you £12 a month for all I would have sold her on. It's every game, mum. I get everything. And then she would have been like, but Double Dash is not part of this. And she'd be like, wait, what? Like, yeah, yeah.
I do have a question. Were your parents fine with like putting their credit card information and stuff?
My mom's still not fine with it.
Yeah, my mom,
bro.
not. Like, that was one of the hardest things with like RuneScape is like my mom at one point was like, okay, you can go and get a Visa gift card and you can use that for
yes.
RuneScape because you're not gonna. I'm not
getting deep into it, yeah,
out there
because I can't. Yeah. My mom's internet to this day is in my name.
Got it.
I had to get it for my sister. My sister's 15 years old. She needs the internet. Like, I had to put it in my name to make all this work, all right? Like, my mum, so to get my mum Netflix, I had to get it through her Sky package because she refused for it to come out separately. My mum doesn't know how to get on the internet still. My mum's not old. My mum's 50-something.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let me break it down for you, yeah? My mum didn't watch me on TV when I was on E4 because she didn't know how to set the reminder.
That's fair.
Okay, you're getting what I'm saying here?
Without my dad, my mother would be in the exact same spot. Like, alone, my mum would be cavewoman, essentially.
Yeah,
like,
and my mum is on
that
her
level
own,
of technology.
Yeah, my mum is on
exactly.
her own.
And like,
so,
100%, I understand that. My mum's the exact same.
Okay, my mum is only just using YouTube because it's built into a Sky Q box or whatever.
Yeah.
And she refuses for me to let her set up an actual account because her recommended is how she gets her content. She doesn't know how to search for content. But my sister did it once, so now my mum watches like all these murder mysteries and all this crap. That's like what she's into. So now she relies on the recommended tab for YouTube on a non-profile. Like, that's how deep this gets.
I
like,
respect it.
My mum's not giving me back then. My mum ain't giving me no $12.99. No way. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. I would have been out there. So what I would have done I would have done the Bing stuff, and then I would have done every time there was a £1 month or the promo that comes up. I would have been on that every single time.
Yeah,
every time. Dude, I remember when I got my 360 webcam. Yeah, I had to do it with Netflix a lot. A different account. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I signed up for bank cards just to get free Netflix. And then cancelled the bank cards.
That's not advisable, kids.
Oh, this is not financial advice.
No, that's
obviously.
fine. That's fine.
But yeah, I remember when I got my Uncle Peter. Shout out to my Uncle Peter, because he changed the game. He bought me my first 360 webcam. Do you remember the old webcam? And it came with Uno.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, it was a game changer. It was over. And my mum was like, wait, do I have to pay for this? I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, all right, cool, you can have it then. That was always the question. It was, do I have to pay for this? I didn't get the internet in my household until I was 17, 16. I was late, bro. I didn't know what IGN was until I was 18. Like, no, my mum weren't paying for no Game Pass, let me tell you. And I probably wouldn't have even asked. Like, it just weren't going to happen.
I remember when you had to start paying for Xbox Live.
Yep.
And that was like a conversation of like, it's the price of one game a year. Like, that's kind of justifiable.
Yeah.
Like, they could get their head around that, I think.
Dude, I had to get... So wait, game a year? Remember, I worked at a game shop, right? So what I used to do was all the pre-owned games that came in, the 14-day trials, I was yoinking them for my dad. When you saw one that was a month, oh my god! Me and my brother used to phone me up, be like, "Yo, you at Dad's shop? Yeah, my Xbox Live just ran out. Okay, cool, I got you. Don't worry. Checking through each of the cases. Is there a 14-day trial in here?" Every time.
Those 14-day trials came in so clutch. They were so
clutch.
You don't
get it.
I remember going to buy Batman Arkham, the first one, Arkham Asylum, pre-owned from a game shop, and the dude behind the counter saved me. He was like, "You can get it brand new with like a month's worth of Xbox Live in there.
Oh, okay, yeah,
for cheaper." And I was like, brilliant. I just like
My
got in
guy.
and assumed the pre-owned version was cheaper than the normal version because
Yeah.
it had been out for so long or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I think growing up poor, it teaches you some things, man. It teaches you some things. You become resourceful when you're poor. Let me tell you. But I think if it was now, I think my mum would probably be. If I could explain, the point is, are you a smart 12-year-old or were you a fixer? If you were me, I couldn't articulate like, "Hello,
Were you a
mum.
fixer?
How are you? Can you please pay for this so I can save money for us?" If you can articulate that at 12, bro, I could barely say a full sentence at 12. I'm telling you, like, I was dumber than now. It's like, I was so dumb, it's ridiculous.
A lot of parents out there now, though, parents of 12, 13, 14-year-olds have been stung. They've put their credit card on something they shouldn't have,
Yep.
and they've spent 30, 40, 50, 100
Yep.
pound on
Oh.
Candy Crush or Ultimate Team or something. And so maybe in this day and age, it's actually even harder of a sell for some kids. But you got Bing.
But there
You've
is
always got
tools in
You have
there.
parental settings and stuff like that now.
Precious,
Yeah.
right? There are tools in place to prevent
A lot of
that. It's
parents
just
don't know about that, though.
No, they know. They're just lazy. Parents be lazy.
Because a lot of times when you're creating an account, it all depends on if you put everything in your kid's hands. With for some parents who aren't very tech savvy, like
Yeah.
that's what you do. It's like your
Oh,
kid
yeah.
will set up everything, and in that case, it's like your kid played you. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
He didn't give himself the praise.
You played yourself.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's like parents just don't necessarily care enough to really be going through the motions
Just-
of everything that they're allowing.
Get out of my face. Get out of my way. Here's the thing
Here's your
you
iPad.
want.
Here's your Fortnite. Here's your whatever the case
If
is,
you're dumb enough to be that type of person, and then little Jimmy comes along and spends £100,
you
that's
got
your
50,000 V-Bucks.
fault. You got 50,000 V-Bucks and a load of Spider-Man skins. Come on, you should be happy. Took care of you. Took care of you.
How old are your kids before you let them play Resident Evil Fix?
Me?
Yeah.
As what? Okay. Because we're going down like a whole time. We're going down
This is a
whole
whole
history
different
right
thing.
now.
You know what I do? I get us off on a tangent.
I love it. My uncle let me play Resident Evil with him. Shout out my Uncle Andy, my favourite uncle to this day. Yeah, I know. I shout out Uncle Peter.
You've
who's
already
amazing.
just given another
Uncle
a shout
Peter's
out.
amazing. Uncle Peter's amazing, but Uncle Andy, without Uncle Andy and my granddad, I'm not sat here today with you lot talking about games. It don't happen. So I was playing Resident. I remember Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo was an early memory, which is weird. And bro, Resident Evil 2. I was up there from 6, 7 playing that game. So my kid, the problem is now, look at the graphics difference in what we were seeing then compared to what we're seeing now. And it all comes down to the kid. I was playing GTA. My mum and dad didn't want me playing GTA, but my uncle let me play it all day long. Right? So it depends on the type of kid I've got. If I've got one of these soft kids, these soft kids who can't handle it, then you know your kid. If the kid is like me, say it's a mini-me of me, understands that it's a video game, understands that it isn't real and all that stuff. Yes, there's moments that scare you still, but you understand that it's a game. I'm letting my kid play from 5, 6 years old. As long as I'm there with him and they're cool and they're a cool kid, I'm good with it personally.
I also think there's a difference between, let's say, letting your kid play Resident Evil 2 remake and like the OG Resident Evil 2.
Of course.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
Not
what
to
I'm
say
saying.
that you.
I was playing Silent Hill 1 with my dad when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 maybe.
Yeah.
It's a different ballpark when games are of that level, right? Resident Evil 2 remake could mess up a kid. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. It could. You're right. And like Manhunt was going to make us all murderers. I played Manhunt. I've never murdered anyone in my life.
True. Fair.
So it's again. I think it comes down
really
to it comes down to the kid. It comes down to the knowledge level. It comes down to. I remember another. We're going well for it. I remember pretending to be James Bond in someone's car. My mum didn't drive, and I remember putting my hand out the window, and my mum screaming at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And like this other parent being like, "Oh, my kid, I remember it. Peter Brown, I remember you, and I remember your mum as well. Don't get it twisted, yeah." And I remember the mum being like, "Oh, my son knows not to do that. He knows it's just a TV show." And then my mum looked at me and was like, "He knows as well." Gave me this look. Never did it again. I knew. Like it's not it's not that well. I'm not a parent.
Do you ever
but it's
think
not,
that
it's-
if that hadn't have happened, now you'd be the next James Bond?
No, I like cake
That's
too
a
much
good
to be the next
question.
James Bond. I like cake too much, and I'm not Idris, so come on.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
We
you know?
know. Trust me, we know. The gun figure out the window was not helping me make it as be James Bond, okay?
That's
But
the
yeah,
difference between somebody who's James Bond and who's not.
That's a good point. You're right.
Exactly.
You're right. And let me guess, if I would have listened, if I would have tried it at home, like WWE told me not to, I would have made it as a wrestler as well, right?
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I don't know. A lot of tangents there. I hope it was good content.
Yeah, that was a trip.
Yeah. Anything else to add on this before did we answer the question? I feel like we did.
Yeah,
remember what
think
the question
we
was.
did. It's Game
Oh,
Pass,
yeah,
and
yeah,
if it
yeah,
existed
yeah.
back then, I think we.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we
I think
covered
so.
it.
All right, let's check the podcast reviews. If the UK Mandem have let me down again, I'm gonna be at.
New review?
We dropped a point.
What?
Oh no!
I am so heartbroken.
Did somebody jump in with a 4-star or something? What the hell's
We
going
were
on?
we was at 4.9 last week, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we was at 4.9. We're now at 4.8. This was
Is the latest review?
No, I'm pretty sure we've read this one already.
They might have not. They might have just did a score.
They might have
review.
just did a rating and not even a. Damn. If you hit us with a 4-star, you're a hater. Even if that's how you feel, that's a hater. You're a hater.
Even with no comment?
We've got a couple 1-stars. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't see them because they
Here's
haven't got
my
like the
thing.
actual thing. Like you're damn.
If you're gonna give a 1-star, you're gonna give a 3-star.
You got to at least write something.
Write why. Otherwise, you're a hater. This is
Otherwise,
right.
keep your opinion to yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
Everybody can have an opinion. Sometimes your opinion's just not relevant.
Oh yeah, there was that one guy that gave me a 2-star. Clearly passionate, but spills over into self-righteous noise. I remember that one. Yeah.
We've randomly bought up Resident Evil twice during this podcast and chat about our childhoods for ages.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do.
Self-indulgent?
Any on your end, Crush? Any from the Americas? No
Absolutely
Damn.
nothing.
No podcast. Let's jump into
going
what's been in
on?
our box then, boys. What have we been playing? More Elden Ring, more Elden Ring.
More Elden Ring, bro.
More Elden Ring. More Elden Ring. Anything else to add or talk about? Something that's happened in the game that you're surprised by? No spoilers, of course. Anything
Shout
that you
out
could
to
touch on?
everybody watching me play live.
Mhm.
Been helping out loads. It's been really helpful because like sometimes we'll be playing and I'll like kill somebody and it'll drop something and I'll just miss what I picked up. Like one of the things I wish that this game had is a list in your inventory of here's the most recent thing you picked up. That would help me so
Or
much.
somebody just says new next to it or whatever.
Yeah, that would be so good. That'd be so
Not
good.
perfect, then. Not perfect.
It's
Game
not perfect.
Relay.
It's not perfect.
Nope.
Not
It's
perfect.
a 9-9.
Nah.
It's a 9-9, you know?
No, it's still a 10.
Um,
It's just not
10,
perfect.
10 doesn't mean
Yeah, it's still-
perfect. Let's like clear that up. 10 does not mean perfect. If anybody gives a 10 in a game with the stipulation that it's a perfect game,
Punch
stop
him in the
drinking
front.
the Kool-Aid.
Perfection doesn't exist. We all get it. So yeah, so I'm loving playing it live with everybody. Really enjoying it. Every Monday night on the YouTube channel. Go subscribe, hit the bell. But
If I
nothing
go
more to add, it's
live on a Tuesday evening to start my journey, are you able to help me from the very start? Like, I'm talking, I start the game.
Fix.
Are you able to be there from the start?
Here's I have a pitch.
Okay, here we go.
Would you want to play these games solo?
Absolutely not.
What we could do is start a series where we get on once every week or once every 2
Yeah,
weeks.
it'd
or
be once
whatever.
every week. Every week, yeah.
And we get on, and I start a new character. Matt either continues with his character or starts a new character because I would literally
No.
one-shot everything in the game. New
I
character.
think all three of us start a new character at the same time and jump in the
Wait,
car.
we can
Let's
all play
replace the
together?
Monday night stream with this.
Yeah.
No. That's your thing. I'm talking about your build. I like what you're building right now. Plus, I don't want the stress of I have to be there. You know,
Yeah.
because things happen. GTA roleplay. It's like
Yeah.
you know how it is. But I want to start this game, but I just don't want to play it. I don't want to play it on my own.
So
I
we
know
could-
for a fact I don't.
I'm down to do that.
That's exciting.
Wait, but
I'm
all
super
three of
down.
us can play together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like some restrictions to co-op, but I think it lets you go through like a majority of the game together.
yeah, it will probably kick us out at certain things that it like early on maybe that it wants you to do solo. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but I think we should be able to play the whole
I
thing
think
together.
most of it is co-opable. I don't know if the legacy dungeons are. I think they are. And I think the people that come into your world have a limited number of flasks they can use.
Ooh.
But then you can come back, right?
Yes.
I'll just restart the mission or whatever. I don't care. I'm not playing it solo.
I think you can just resummon us.
That's
let's
fine.
do it.
I will
Right?
just
You could
resummon you
us.
then.
I'm so excited.
So I'm
Alright.
100% down to do that.
Fine.
I'm wondering if there's some way. Wondering if like me and Kresh can somehow share an account, and then one of us could drop in with you whenever you want to go. Because I'm worried that like you'll pick a night and neither of us will be able to go. You know
That's
what I mean?
never
Like,
gonna happen. I just won't go on.
yeah.
Like,
That's fine.
I'm just not going on that night. Like it's not a big deal. Like I hear the way you're both talking about this game. I understand that I am not gonna get the appreciation out of this game if I play it on my own. It's not gonna happen. I know already.
Yeah.
So let's do it together. Screw it. And why don't what we could do, Matt, is when we could still do Mondays. So but when I'm available on the Monday night, we do it.
We
We can
switch
do
it.
it with the new character, and then when you're
Let's do
not,
it.
then
I just
yeah,
do
and
my
I
normal
can,
thing.
I can be live. I can still be live on Twitch, and Kresh can go live on Twitch if he wants, or you lot can be together on the My Xbox and Me channel, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to care about this or not, but
This is very exciting, and I'm very, very keen. Crash, is there a way to create more than one character without overriding your current character?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
I
good.
believe you can. I'll make sure that we can make
Yeah,
different
let's
characters.
not accidentally override our
'Cause I-
actual saves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if
He's
you-
like, that might be too bad, you know.
don't
You
bother me.
guys don't need those.
I mean, don't bother me. No problem.
It would infuriate me.
But the only problem we're going to have is you two know where to go, so I'm going to want to just.
I think you guide us.
I'm
And
gonna
Yeah.
wanna
if help's
wander.
needed.
Okay.
I'm
cool.
really happy to just
Okay.
doodle around behind you.
All right. Anything else to add on Elden Ring before I talk about WWE 2K22?
I don't think so. No.
Crash, you're very close to the end.
Yeah.
This idea of jumping into fix is obviously exciting because it's fresh and it's new. I'm curious, if you were about to finish this game, do you get the feeling you'd be like, let's start it back up. Let's go again.
He said
I
yes,
will
so
let
that's
you know
100%.
this. I will let you know right now. I'm making sure on my first playthrough that I get every optional boss that's an achievement, every weapon that's an achievement, everything that's an achievement. There's 3 endings that you need to get for achievements. I plan on playing this game another 2 times after I end it here. If I get to it this year, but I will play it to like 1000G this game.
Oh, that good, yeah?
Yeah. Absolutely. I plan
I'm
on
not
playing
surprised.
1000G.
I'm already thinking about my next play. And
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I want to switch up the class this way or do this. And then
Honestly, this game has so much cool like Ashes of War and spells and incantations and stuff where it's like I just see myself wanting to go in a completely different route with the character.
100%.
The respecking is there. I don't know if you've gotten to that yet. You
No,
can
not quite.
respec your character, but I feel like it's a cop out for me personally to like respec my character and be like, I want to go a faith build this time, so I'm gonna respec and go completely faith. I'll respec it to like fix my mistakes and what I did, like where I put in skill points and stuff like that, but not to drastically change what I did.
love it.
WWE 2K22. I have a code. Thank you, 2K, for providing me with a code. I appreciate you. I have played probably less than an hour. I literally just got my code yesterday. Couldn't play yesterday. Played before we jumped on the podcast. Things I can say about the game. Number one, I think it may be the best looking WWE game I've ever played in terms of from a graphical standpoint. Character models look amazing. Ring, amazing. Lighting, fantastic. Even the crowd don't look too bad, to be honest with you. The problem I have with the game instantaneously, it looks like it's going to be quite content light. I haven't jumped in fully, so I'll have a lot more to say about the game next week. But they've got, Jesus, I want to actually remember exactly what the mode's called, because it's WWE.
IGM?
No, so they've got My GM mode, which is great. Love the fact that My GM's back. You've also got, I think it's called Showdown, which is sort of like a history of a wrestler's. So right now, the first one that I'm doing is Rey Mysterio. So you're playing through big moments of Rey Mysterio's career. If you don't care about wrestling, you're going to care about this. I understand. I like wrestling, and I like wrestling history as well.
The reason I was laughing there is because I'm the most light wrestling fan ever, right? Like, I was into it for like 5 months as a kid at one point. When Rey Mysterio was the big guy. And so how is Rey Mysterio still the big guy?
He's not.
Is he not old and dead?
He's not the big guy. He is old, but he's not that's the point of this, though. It's
like a history of this character.
It's a history of this character. They've done it before. Back in the day, they used to do a thing called Road to WrestleMania, which was like you played through a character's arc, but it was kind of, if I remember rightly, it was like a original story. Then they did like a history thing where you played through. So they've kind of gone with the one where it's like you're playing through significant moments in a superstar's life. So right now, the first mission is Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, and you're doing the iconic moves at the iconic time, and you've got these objectives that you have to fulfill to move on past the next story beat of what's going on. I really like it. They mix a blend of like actual WWE footage in with the gameplay at certain moments. Stuff really, really cool. But that mode alone isn't going to keep me interested enough. I haven't tried online yet. Online for 2K games, notoriously laggy. WWE games, notoriously laggy. Yeah. So I'll have more to say on that next week. From a starting point, I do like the mechanics of what it is. It feels like the mechanics of a wrestling game feel really good, what they've got so far. Reversals feel really good, well timed. All the stuff you kind of expect is there with a level of polish that you expect from a WWE game after taking a year off. You expect them to nail that stuff. The thing that worries me is I don't see my career there, which scares me. I don't see a customized. They've got factions, which I don't know. Again, I've not jumped in. I don't know exactly what that is yet. Obviously, you've got your staples in terms of like all your normal exhibition matches that you can go and do. I was just playing with the character customization as I jumped on the podcast that the boys saw. And the one thing I did notice is when you're switching between different face templates, those are the ones that I got stuck on. There's a little bit of a load time in between each one, which Kresh says wasn't a big deal. I agree with him, it's not a big deal, but this is next gen. So for me, we've moved over to SSDs, we've moved over to quick loading. The character customization shouldn't be the thing this game's stuttering on, even for a millisecond. I need that to be flawless. It's a little thing, but it's still a thing that I kind of expected to be fixed by now.
I will say with the faces, at least they do have like, it looks like they have the full suite of visuals going on, the lighting and everything. Yeah. Maybe if they toned that down a bit, which I don't think you need that all in the character creator, to be honest. Yeah. I think they could have toned that down a bit and maybe up the load times for that.
GM mode I'll obviously jump into because I'm really looking forward to that. I was a huge fan of GM mode, especially on the PSP games in the day. I used to have it SmackDown vs. Raw on the PSP, and GM mode on there was, oh my god, fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think the other problem that the game has is the roster's like out of date. Because WWE keep releasing a bunch of wrestlers and things like that. So yeah, there's a whole problem there in its universal mode. But yeah, again, I'll be able to talk way more next week once I've put a substantial amount of time into it. Right now, if someone was like, should I buy this? If you've been missing wrestling games and you want to see something pretty and you miss just beating up people, yes. Anything deeper than that, I don't know yet.
Do you think for this game, even if it's feature light, let's say, with like different game modes and stuff like that, do you think that them just focusing on overhauling the gameplay and the way the mechanics work is worth it, even if 1 year is a little bit lackluster in content?
It's worth it. It's worth it if they explain that. I think the big problem that WWE fans have had. So put it this way: we got our review codes the day of the embargo for creators. I think reviewers got it think they got it like 8 hours before us with a turnaround time of 8 hours. It's like, we know it's just impossible. So that number one doesn't quite feed you with what's the word I'm looking for here? Like confidence in the game, number one. And number two, they've been quite quiet on everything. Usually WWE, they come out, they show certain things, and they're showing the game, they're showing off the modes. That didn't really happen this year round because it looks like there isn't too much to show, is the problem. So I think if they've nailed the gameplay this year, which it seems very good, and they've nailed the graphics, they've got the character models, all that stuff that we expect, I'm happy. But next year, the pressure's on even more so then, because now you've given me a great game with shallow things to do. Now I need stuff to do with this great game, you know? So, yeah, that's where I'm at. But it does, again, it is the prettiest WWE game I think I've ever played in terms of lighting and things like that. But kind of expected that, so. Anything? Any questions, boys? No?
It's so not my sort of game, man.
I would only have questions for GM mode, which
I'll play it soon. I will play it soon. Very, 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 very soon. This week's dashboard. We'll get through it. Halo Infinite's multiplayer Season 2 is called Lone Wolves, and it has a release date, maps, and modes. 343 Industries has revealed the new details for Halo Infinite Season 2 multiplayer, including that it will be called Lone Wolf, that it will also have new maps, modes, and will be released on May 3rd, 2022. All the news was shared via the Halo Waypoint by Halo Infinite head creative Joseph Staten. And he began by sharing the inspiration behind Lone Wolf, which is both Season 2's name and theme. Quote, by theme we mean a core idea that guides the creation of much, but not all of its season's content. Lone Wolf Spartans are hunters, trackers, they're resourceful, improvisers, operating deep in enemy territory without supply or support. They're fierce, rugged, and prefer to work alone, but they're still loyal to the Spartan pack. Going along with this, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, co-op got delayed to later on in Season 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it's still coming out in Season 2,
but just
until later.
We don't know when?
No. They said they were having struggles with it. I know they mentioned split screen as well, but I don't think split screen is going to be coming out in Season 2 as far as I'm aware. I don't think they have
fine. I'm fine with split screen not even happening. For this type of game, I'm fine with it not even happening. I get why they want it there, and I get why people want it there. But yeah, I just
says the next story is about that, and it says we will be able to ship campaign network co-op on May 3rd at the start of we will not be able to ship campaign co-op network 3rd. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad there's a new season. Glad people are excited for that if they are. But the thing people have been waiting for, such as myself, which is co-op, not there yet.
Yeah.
Not there yet.
Yeah. It's weird because I feel for the 343 team and the world they built. Co-op's just an enigma in how you exactly make it work. And I could see them very easily having issues with respawning and things like that and making it all feel good and fun to play. Yeah. As well as like it not just being Master Chief and it working for the co-op, because the story very much so is like it's Master Chief against the world.
Yeah.
And whatever they'd have to do to make that fit. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're struggling with, but I could see it. But I do know that the Halo community is kind of fed up with Halo to a very big degree. I think unfairly so in a lot of ways, especially when you look back at like past Halo games. This happens with every Halo game. This really happens with every multiplayer game. Even if you look at Apex when it came out and Fortnite in its early days, is like, where's the content? There's no content. And Halo's definitely suffering from that. But it's completely free to play. You didn't pay $60 for it. You didn't anything. Like, content will come. They've been a little slow with it, but hopefully they get better with it.
This game's dead.
Look, as somebody who still, like, I played it on the weekend, right? So, like, I'm still in. You know, like, I'm still playing regularly enough. This whole Lone Wolf thing does not get me excited. Like, you've only just fixed Big Team Battle. and now
Well,
you're pitching this lone
it's
wolf
not a-
thing. I
it's
don't
It's
know
the
even
theme.
what it
It's
is.
not
anything.
pitching it. It's a theme. It's a theme.
Yeah,
It's a theme.
yeah. So
It's a theme
what
for
is
the
going to
season
come with
pass.
that? Free for alls and
No,
Nah.
it's a theme for the new
It's just
season.
a theme for the new
man.
season.
but what does that
The
mean?
battle pass and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they've done that before, right? Like where their theme was like Fiesta, but that was still a game mode
No,
as well.
that wasn't. That Fiesta was not for a season.
Not for a
Fiesta was
season,
the
no.
Fracture event. Yes, that's different.
Okay,
Like the
so
theme
what has the
for-
theme been
the
for
theme
season
for
one?
the first season was Reach. That's
Right.
why when you play the battle pass, you unlock the Reach skins and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Does
what
that
is
get anybody
lone
excited
for
then?
someone like me? What is Lone Wolf?
They have pictures if you click on the link.
I did.
For the
Yeah.
first one from
Sorry, I
IGN.
did.
They
I
have
meant,
pictures of like 2 of the skins, and so that's essentially what it is. It's just you're gonna be getting armors and armor pieces and more customization options and stuff like that in the game, which I think the game does kind of lack. So that's good, but I do know that they're releasing, I think, a new mode today that comes out, which is the elimination mode is officially going to be out. Yeah, I think it's a wait and see situation, honestly, with 343 and Halo Infinite right now. I'm assuming they came up into some sort of issues that they just weren't expecting.
So yeah, they thought it was going to be more popular than it is.
I don't think that's the issue.
I don't think that's it. It's not enough. Like it sucks to say it, but like the co-op campaign getting delayed and stuff, like it's losing steam so fast that they're gonna lose eventually.
I don't think so. People forget how much Apex lost steam when it first came out.
True, that
People
did
forget
happen.
how much a lot of these games lose so much steam when they come out. Like Rainbow Six launched with low steam and only went down and regained a lot of that. Like I think when
2
you say like,
words.
it's going to go away and die, I think that's unfair.
Battle Royale.
I think so. I think they will need. I
They
think
have no
100%
choice.
They need a battle royale.
100%.
Because I don't think if you look like Halo Infinite put itself at a disadvantage by not having a battle royale.
Yep.
Battle royale is the multiplayer mode of today, whether you like it or not. Whether you cheered when they said the only BR we have is our gun, which at the time, like, clever wordplay, you guys are smart, is like it doesn't live in the long term. It's like, especially because like Halo Infinite would work so well with the game, the way that game functions in the sandbox. It would work so well in a BR. Is that they need that. That's what they need. That's where the replayability of like, it's not always the same thing. It's the one benefit of BRs of some people hate it is like the randomization when you fall. What are you going to get and make to work for you to get that long-term victory in that match? And I do think they need that for the game.
100%.
Oh, Halo. It could be worse. It could be our next game that we're talking about, which is Skull and Bones. I'm not even going to read the article here, but Sarah Squid had a great question that I think we should answer because we kind of touched on this last week about Skull and Bones, which was Ubisoft recently announced that the development of Skull and Bones is, quote, going well, end quote, and will release within the next financial year, April 2022 to March 2023. The game started development in early 2013 and was officially announced in 2017 at E3. The game started development at the beginning of the Xbox One/PS4 era and is only just now, possibly, it was in capitals, seeing a release. The game will be seeing 10 years in development this year, 8 of which development hell, according to the insider at Ubisoft. My question is, do you think this game actually releases within the next year? And if it does, what does Ubisoft have to do to make sure it isn't a flop? It seems like everyone has already written off the game as a failure. No one talks about this game without saying the game should probably have been cancelled. The hype around this is more dead than Google Stadia after recent announcements that they are shifting focus and dropping support for games to 40%. How does Ubisoft fix Skull and Bones' perception? Bonus question. Hey, Matt, what's the email?
I don't like that this is the new trend.
I
don't like it when it's against me.
Answer the question, please.
My Xbox and me podcast at gmail.com.
Boring. He knows it now. We've got to come up with a new one. I don't think there's a thing on earth you can do.
I think the only
Go on, Crash.
I think the only thing that could happen for Skull and Bones is the game launches and it is miraculously the best game anybody's ever played.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that's
But
the
that
only
can't
thing.
happen.
I'm not here to say that it'll happen. I'm not here to say that it could happen. I'm just saying that is the only thing the game could do.
It's impossible.
I agree.
We talked about it a little bit. Was it last week, week before? I can't remember.
Last week.
But this idea that like it could just be Black Flag 2. And I think if they actually rename this Assassin's Creed Black Flag 2: Skull and Bones.
No matter what they do, if they do like a successor to Black Flags, it'll be a spiritual successor. It won't be an Assassin's Creed game. I don't think they do that.
No.
Because this
But
game
I think that's what it has to be, and I don't see it pivoted that much. It's not going to be a third-person action.
Well,
Or is
you guys do have a pizza bet on that.
No, I think we
Do
did.
we also
do
have
it.
a pizza bet
I
on
don't
that?
think
No,
we
I don't
did
think
it.
so.
I thought we decided again.
Oh.
I wanted to, but Matt didn't take me up on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the third person. I don't think Matt. We'll have to recheck because if that is a pizza bet,
I mean, I would take
did
it.
not add it to the list.
I would take it right now if you wanted to pitch it.
Nah, I'm good.
Fix is over it now.
Okay. I think that's
would
what
do-
happened last week. Is the fix?
No,
reneged on it.
no, that doesn't happen. I don't back down from a pizza bet. No way. No. Sometimes things happen in life, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to change the perception by some people. The world has spoken, and we don't care about Skull and Bones. We didn't care then. We don't care now. And I don't think that's going to change no matter what is shown. I think this launches on PlayStation Now or Game Pass or something like that where Ubisoft can recoup some pennies from it, and then it gets to... I know they've got their own streaming service, though. It's the only... Not streaming, sorry. Subscription
Game Pass
service.
type deal.
Yeah.
Is the only problem there. But then you could say the same thing about quarantine. Like, I think they know. They know. Pre-orders must be at an all-time low, so...
Do we think that Xbox would try to get that for Game Pass? Or do you think that would be like swept up in a deal with other games with Ubisoft where it's like, you guys also get, for the small added price, you guys also get Skull and Bones?
That's
No,
exactly what it is.
I think where it would become was it's Xbox still having that conversation. And the more they get first-party Ubisoft titles day and day in Game Pass, the more ubiquitous you're going to think about Ubisoft and Xbox in bed with each other. Which, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to everyone to decide, right? But the more and more this happens, the better it is for Game Pass. Whether the games are good or bad, it just seems like such a good deal for Game... What? They got this? What? They got that? What else are they going to get? I might as well get Game Pass just in case they get insert game here. So, whether Skull and Bones is good, whether Rainbow Six Quarantine was good, if they were to get Skull and Bones, I think it would be more a case of like Xbox just being like, we ain't giving you a lot, but we'll give you enough to make it worth your while, and it still looks good on our service that we can get these big... I hate to say it, but Skull and Bones is big. Like, it's 10 years in development. These big titles.
Do we think Ubisoft's losing its steam?
Yes.
With like its... It is, right? Because I was thinking about it, because like, it's not... They're also delaying a lot of games, like The Settlers, which I don't know what exactly that game is, but that got delayed recently. I was going to add it, but I thought add it to the story, but I was like, I don't know if anybody actually cares about it.
What was their last hit of a new IP that they brought out? Think about it. Their last hit. No, the hit.
The Assassin's Creed reinvention. Odyssey.
No, but that was still Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but I'm saying like other than that, I don't like a new IP. I don't think they've had one.
Riders Republic
failed.
I don't know if it failed. I don't know what
in
their
terms of like a new IP hit, right?
Like
when
ain't nobody out here caring about Riders Republic. Other than that, what they put out that game that they just cancelled, the Battle Royale one. They announced that other generic shooter thing. I don't even remember what it's called.
Division shooter game, the Division one.
No, oh, you're right. It was the Division one. Yeah.
That does not look good.
It doesn't look great, and I feel like Ubisoft are just in a different place. So, are they on the decline? Maybe not. They're just in a different place right now, and they don't have that same love. That go on.
I think they're going into an EA category where it was like EA's only making a good sport game and
Yep.
like they'll make the occasional other IP or long-standing IP that they've had, and it's not really going to be good, and it's not going to be what gamers want, right?
Look.
I feel like EA has kind of been escaping that with like Star Wars, and they've done some other games where they've sort of been re-upping their image. I feel like I think Ubisoft's been on such a big decline. Like Splinter Cell got announced, and I didn't see a lot of positive responses for this Ubisoft making a Splinter Cell game.
Because it wasn't the Splinter Cell game we wanted and the way they did it as well. Like, we've all been screaming, Splinter Cell E3, Splinter Cell E3, Splinter Cell E3. And then they just came out with a weird press release where they're like, Splinter Cell remake! And we're like, wait, what? We've been waiting for this for how long? And don't get me wrong, they've got a few games that I think we write off and we don't think about, like a For Honor, still doing pretty well, I bet. They've had their championships. They've got a game like Anno 1800. I bet that does really well for them as well. And then of the games we think about, Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, Far Cry, and The Division. I don't know where The Division is at right now in terms of its popularity. So,
I think,
I
think the benefit of For Honor in particular is like very much so Ubisoft understanding how to market long-term games, very similar to the way they do Rainbow Six Siege. 100%. I think For Honor's been as successful as it has been because of what they went through with Rainbow Six Siege.
Agree. They didn't throw in the towel on that game. I think even for games like Ghost Recon as well. Like, there's been content that's come out for Breakpoint where like, they do keep feeding the audience that is there with I don't know if it's enough content, but with content. Like, even Far Cry, I know Far Cry 6 has got like its season pass with a bunch of DLC that came out for it, and like
those
just
villain
because
stuff as well.
Yeah, just because that's what upsets me though. Like, that villain stuff is all packaged into Far Cry 6, where like that stuff looked kind of interesting. I just don't care to go back to Far Cry 6. I enjoyed my time with it and I bounced. Like, if that was just a standalone packaged game, I probably would have played it more. I enjoy those characters. So, but is Ubisoft losing steam? Yes, I would say yes. But
I agree.
Remember, they're still probably worth like 1.6 billion.
Oh, absolutely. Like, when EA was going downhill, they weren't sweating about it.
I'm seriously trying to think about like the new IP. Like, did Immortal Phoenix Rising do well? Watch Dogs Legion, did that do well in the end? I don't think it did.
I think they both liked games.
Yeah,
I think people in general like those games.
Phoenix Immortal Rising was a fun game. I enjoyed it a lot.
But I think back in the day, especially when you're looking at like the time they put out like the very first Assassin's Creed, like the perception of Ubisoft as a game developer wasn't like the same as now. Now it's like, okay, they'll give you that solid. They'll give you the action movie experience where it's like, it's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to be the best movie, but it's going to be an enjoyable movie. Yeah. And I feel like that's slowly where Ubisoft's been putting themselves in.
I can't wait to see their E3 showing. Just prove me wrong. No, they're having their E3 showing, man. Well, I mean, they're having their showing of some sort. I don't know if it's E3. I can't speak about E3 anymore.
Yeah.
I'm still so sad E3's dead.
I tell you what, however this ends up going, I can't wait to see Skull and Bones next. Whatever it is, it's going to be fascinating.
This does not sound like good faith at all, Matt. I see the devious smile.
Whatever happens, it's going to be fascinating.
Does anyone care about this Persona publisher news, or can we skip past it? Cool, we're skipping. Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 getting a PS5 and Xbox Series X/X upgrade. Nothing more to say about that. And our last news story, which is GTA 5 next-gen version, is $10 cheaper on PlayStation compared to than it is on Xbox Series X.
What?
Gosh darn dare they. Chris, you read this one. Can you give me anything on this? What's going on?
Yeah, so these games are launching on next-gen versions with a sale attached to them for like the first 3 months or something along those lines. On PlayStation, it is a 75% sale. On Xbox, it is a 50% sale. And then on I think online is free for PlayStation as well for the first however much of time. I don't
yeah.
think it's free on Xbox. Let me double check that.
No, you're right. Yeah, it says it here.
Yeah, GTA Online discount price on Xbox Series X and S is $10. On PS5, it's free. So I'm assuming they have a good deal with Sony.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Is anyone that
It's
worried
also-
about it? Like, bro, this game already looks very fine.
Look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't think you need to buy a next gen version. It's not gonna make the gameplay any better. It's still gonna feel outdated.
And the load times are already somewhat
game.
fixed in terms of like that intro load time.
Who knows with the wait? What if you get the next gen version and the load times are worse because they have updated graphics?
Imagine. Could you imagine, bro?
Hey.
Stranger things have happened. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here this week, boys. Kresh, we'll start with you. What you got to plug this week, my guy?
The My Xbox and Me YouTube page. Please go subscribe. Go show some support over there. Matt streaming. You heard us earlier. 3-man Elden Ring stream whenever Fix is available. Those Mondays we will. Matt's jumping up and down. Leave a podcast review. Email in. We haven't gotten an email. We got the one from Original Cookie Man from last week, but other than that, we haven't really gotten too many emails. If you guys have any thoughts on the podcast, the best way to reach out to the podcast is either tweeting at My Xbox and Me or tweeting with the hashtag MXAM.
Yeah. Matt P?
Get in the Discord, the MC Fix Discord. It's a good way to get in touch with the podcast. Good way to chat with everybody else who listens to the podcast or just watches MC Fix's stream. It's all going on in there.
To be fair, we need to. There is a My Xbox and Me tab. We need to remember to promote your streams in there.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I can't change it from. I wish I could change the Discord to like MC Fix across My Xbox and Me, like. But you know, I set this up weirdly. I know it's not. Yeah, it's not like a ego thing for anyone who thinks it is. It's not.
So you gotta just erase the Discord and start all over. Like that's the best way to do things like this.
Sounds like the best way to do it.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you can find me everywhere. What was a lot? Still not getting much feedback on the music. I got one tweet. Shout out. I appreciate it. But, you know, new song is out. Head Pop. I got 5 songs on the GTA Roleplay radio now. 5. I'm the only independent artist in there with my song, so I'm very happy about that. We have a new one coming out soon as well called Right Now, so that'll be fun when that comes out. Yeah, man, come check me out on Twitch. I don't promote Twitch too often, but I'm there 6 days a week for like 12 hours a day. So if you're someone who's like, man, I like this guy on the podcast, maybe I should see what he does. Twitch.tv/MCFixer. Come check out my content. I'd appreciate it. I'd love to do some sort of content around WWE as well for My Xbox and Me, like a little 2-hour stream of us playing, because me and Chris played back in the day. We played WWE Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Oh, yeah, we had a good time. I
was surprisingly surprised by that game. I thought it was going to be horrible, and it was fun enough.
How easy is it to import your own entrance music?
I don't know. Again, I have to look into all of that. I'd love to do a whole thing where, like, even if we,
I'd be up for it just to make an insane character and have crazy entrance music and stuff. I would spend way too long on that.
But yeah, man, come check out my content. I'd appreciate it. Again, go and check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/myxboxandme, and leave us some gosh darn feedback. I understand a lot of you just here for the podcast once a week. We just want to know what to make for you guys. We want to know if you want Let's Plays. We want to know if you want live streams. We want to know if you want opinion pieces. We want to know. Just tell us.
What type of content do you guys want? We did get a comment on Discord for something to add to the video version of My Xbox and Me that I was going to bring up.
Which was what?
The podcast. Whenever we do the user questions, if there was a way to bring it up on video, just so people can follow along with what the question is more easily. Because sometimes when we get an editor, a bit long-winded and longer. Yeah. Which I assumed would be the answers.
When we get an editor, we can have actual pre and post production, and that would be amazing. Until then, Matt's making thumbnails, Chris is getting show notes, I'm jumping off live streams literally instantly to jump on or finishing a game. We just don't have the manpower at the moment. If we did, I promise you we'd have it. I want B-roll as we're talking about certain games. There's so much I want to change, but there's only so much that 3 men can do and this is not their full-time gig, you know? But I don't mind putting the questions maybe in the in the comments or maybe in the description, and we time code them. We could do that.
We could do that.
Something like that for now, until we can get like some proper post-production. That'd be good.
We could do that. One thing I was going to quickly mention that is worth talking about on here then very quickly. You mentioned the exclusive podcast, which is 15 minutes of post-show after each episode that we're going to cut together into an exclusive hour-long podcast once a month. Where can the people find it?
Patreon.com/MCFixel.
There it is.
What tier? I ain't decided yet. $1 maybe? I just want to give. I want to be able to give back. I just want people to listen to it. I want people to actually hear us talk about the randomness that we talk about before the podcast and after the podcast. Some of it's quite funny. So now we're just recording it and throwing it all into a podcast. Is it going to be weird? Yeah. Is it going to be fun? Yeah. And are we going to go record it right now? Yeah. Until next time. Love you. Leave you. See you later. Goodbye.
Love you, Potato Squad.